Good morning. Hello and welcome. My name is Heather. Welcome to Chasing Heather. My web is heather-massage.com. If you would like to book a massage and you're in the Rio Grande Valley, Upper Rio Grande Valley in McAllen, that's where I'm at. First, I'd like to do a little bit of a fit check. I have some old videos on my little YouTube that look nothing like me, and I like the way I look now. So these little earrings I think are from Kato. The lipstick is NARS. It's like a purple color. This little pinstripe I got at the thrift. This is my grandma's ring. The nails are courteous of Tony at Chloe Nail over there by Costco. And this ring, my friend Stacy sent this to me many years ago when I was at my first house. And I'll show you the rest. So, I have a little tank top and a skirt. Long flowy skirt. Let's see if I can get the whole skirt in here. Here's the skirt. And I have some sandals. And I have a towel on the floor because we got a little mud trackage, so I had to clean that up. So here we are. Welcome. For those of you who don't know, my name is Heather. I've been in the massage business for over 10 years now, or probably right around 10 years. This is my first bona fide YouTube blasting to the whole planet. I used to have a podcast called Dirty Secrets of Massage. The podcast, I took it down and retrieved it. Did a few more episodes and then I took it down again. And then Spotify took over the platform I was using and I do not have a podcast anymore. For sure. I just got on today to Spotify, a little self-help, little on the chat GPT, and the lady told me it's gone. So we're gonna start over and do a tell-all similar to what it was, but of course it's not the same. And I apologize for the lighting in my office. There, that seems to be a little better. I'm in my office, and so how did I get here? What am I doing? What am I up to? And I apologize for this light, I have a lamp back there, but I'm not sure how much lighting I will have. So let's get to it. Let's talk about how I got into massage. Let's just start from the beginning, right? I was born in 1975 in Cottage Grove, Oregon. If you don't know where that's at, it's about 30 minutes south of Eugene, where the Oregon Ducks play. And I grew up on a farm. The address of that farm is 78718 Bryson Sears Road, Cottage Grove, Oregon, 97424. And that farm is still there. My parents were married for 18 years. They had 6 kids, and I'm number 3. But alas, I'm the first girl. I would later learn through exes, not my exes, somebody else's exes, that I am not a middle child. I am a firstborn by gender. So for a long time, I had a little bit of an issue figuring out, hey, am I I'm a middle child. Maybe that's what my issue is. I'm a black sheep. I'm a middle child. No, not even close. I was a daddy's girl. So I was a daddy's girl, firstborn by gender. So that makes my personality traits very similar to other firstborns, true firstborns. So my dad is a lonely child. My mother is a firstborn, and my first brother is a firstborn. And if I'm a firstborn by gender, you could probably guess how well we get along. We don't. Not really. So I was just recalling in the car yesterday, I believe, that my mother would quite frequently say, Heather, don't say that. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't. No. Don't. And I do remember specifically and frequently that I was very much censored. Don't, no, right? But I was never told, well, if I shouldn't say that, then what should I say instead? So, we did not grow up with manor school, boarding school, military school, school to tell you how to behave yourself, mind your manners, be a lady. We did not go to that school. We went to the school of no, don't. Stop. Right? Stop, but don't tell me when I can and can't start again. It's just stop doing that. Right? So there's no, don't say that, but you should say this. Or instead of saying it this way, maybe try saying it that way. So I grew up saying whatever came to the front of my forehead. And I'm pretty much still like that. I'm 50 years old. I was born on February 10th, 1975. I'm the only in the family with the hazel eyes from my dad. And the blonde hair. Everybody else has blue eyes and blonde hair, brown hair like my mom. But I felt very different than the rest because I had hazel eyes and freckles. And I would later learn that the boys go crazy over green eyes, hazel eyes, or as they say in the valley, colored eyes, blonde hair, freckles, the such. So, after my parents divorced, I went to my first public school and I learned my first cuss word. My dad and mom had drinking problems from what I have been told. I will say that the childhood that my brothers had and my sister had is not the same childhood that I had. We did grow up in the same household all the way until I turned 17, and then I have my little ones behind me. But we did not have the same childhood. So I do not feel that it's fair for my brothers, as they have done, to blame me for things that either I didn't know better because I was 5 or because they resent me because my dad favored me. So there's a lot of that coming out now. A lot of resentment that I have life easy, that my military service doesn't count. Oh, my deployment to Iraq in 2008 doesn't count because I rode a desk. Well, as my sister brought up the other day, my dead brother rode a desk too. But it's different when the boys sit the desk and then the girls. Because in this world, we have these things called double standards. So what's good for the guys is not good for the girls, and what's good for the girls is not good for the guys. We have double standards, and we're just going to make the women feel less than for doing the same job or doing it better or finding their own way. So this is my journey. You're welcome to come along. After I graduated high school, I went straight into the Navy. And I served a total of 15 years. Please do not come for me and ask me why I didn't do 20. Because I'm going to get in you and find out why you think that you need to criticize my time in service. My time is honorable just as much as anybody else's. And for those who never served and make comments about it, shame on you. Shame on you. So, right now, I reside in the Rio Grande Valley. I've been here since December of 2023. September 30th of 2023, I sold my last house. If you want to go look it up, it's still there. 2513 Thomas Avenue, Pasadena, Texas, 77506. And the lady that bought it from me, Irma, has it listed again. So she was in there less than 2 years, and she put it up for sale in June for about $50,000 more than what I sold it to her for, which is very interesting. If you go look up that listing on Zillow, you will see Irma still has some of my curtains hanging up, and it's a little awkward. So the house is still sitting there. Interesting. So moving along, when we sold, me and the two dogs, when we sold, we hopped in the car. All of everything I owned was in a storage unit, and I did a complete factory reset on myself. Some people would call that a midlife crisis. I call it a factory reset. So I did a factory reset, got in my car, and I went to Corpus. And I was looking for closure. And honestly, my goal was to go see my friends. And I'm like, you know what? I'm the only single one out of all my friends, and I'm the only one without any kids and stuff running around. I'm going to go see all my friends. So I thought. So I make plans to go see some of my friends, and they slowly but surely, one by one, reneged, backed out, got busy. When they knew I was in town, they didn't want to see me, right? So I was learning very quickly that I really didn't have many friends. And I was putting in effort to people that didn't care about me. So, by the way, I quit drinking in July of 2023 for good. So there are some videos here I may upload later. One of them is from 2013, where I quit drinking for like probably the 50th time, and it took me another 10 years to get sober. So that's a little crazy. So anyways, I got in my car and I came to Corpus, got in the gate and everything with my disabled veteran ID card, and the place was like super dumpy. And it was really depressing. Like, it looks like PW hasn't been there in years. So it was really dumpy. It was depressing. I went out the back gate off of Ocean Drive, pulled off to, I think it's Ocean Drive Park, cried, made a TikTok about it, and moved on. And then I went back home to Pasadena, went to the Home Depot over by where I lived, found me a random guy, day worker, and took him to my storage unit and unloaded everything to the Goodwill. And I disappeared in my car. So I wanted to go off the grid. I wanted to experience life and not pay any bills. I wanted to start over and live in the woods for the rest of my life. Well, little did I know that you really need an address. You really need an address. The VA doesn't like it when you do stuff like this, because then they think you're suicidal or something. So I ended up going to Florida. I wasn't like intending to. I was just rolling around and trying to see friends in Nashville and Memphis. By the way, that place is very dangerous. Memphis and Nashville. Dangerous. I saw a guy snorting something in the parking lot at Walmart in Nashville. It was in the parking lot, broad daylight, like 6 a.m. It was crazy. So anyways, I got to Florida, saw an old friend of mine. He's now, I don't know if he's alive anymore. He probably is, but he used to be a supervisor of mine. His name is Chris Corleone, and his wife's name is Maiko, and they had 4 kids together. And the dynamic has certainly changed, because Chris was in a chair the last time I saw him, with a trach and a feeding tube. So there's a long story to that. And I did not end up staying there too terribly long. I think I was there 6 weeks total, but I really enjoyed it. But the thing about Florida was The car insurance is extremely expensive. Everything else is extremely expensive, but the vibe was pretty good. Well, the vibe can be good all day long, but if you can't afford the vibe, like, it's time to go. So I left, but before I left, I bought a tiny camper off of another military veteran. And it was like an 8x12 bunkhouse, and I hooked it to my car, and I lived in that thing for like 4 months. So I was out on the road for 4.5 months, and I ran into an old guy named David at Magnolia Beach in Texas, and this was Christmas of 23. And he says, I'm going to go see my ex, Tina, in Edinburgh. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird, but whatever. And I didn't know anything about the Valley other than drugs. Matter of fact, I have a video on my YouTube about the Valley. That's another story. And from a long time ago, from more than 10 years ago. So anyways, he came to the Valley to go see his ex. And then he said he was going to go to Falcon County Park when he was finished with the ex visiting. And he was going to stay there for 3 months. So I bid him farewell, and that was it. A couple days later, maybe December 26th, I get stuck at South Padre Island on the beach, and my vehicle and the camper almost floated out into the bay. So I got towed out. Yeah, to the tune of $792 towed out. And I went back to Port Aransas, and it was flooding there too. And I said, screw this, I'm going to Falcon. I'm going to Falcon where David said he was going. So that's what I did. I got my little map out on my phone. I punched in Falcon County State Park, and I went out there. And there's David in his little casita. And that journey was a little messy, but I stayed there for 6 weeks. And then after I stayed there, I decided either I could keep going and put wear and tear on my car with no address, or maybe I can creep down here and find some housing and stick around for a while. And so that's what I did. I bought an RV. I thought I bought an RV in, February. Excuse me, February of 2024. And there's a little more to that I'm going to probably make another video about separately. And anyways, I got into the RV. I stayed there for a year and a few months. And then we had some new management at the park, a new manager that was barely like 24 years old. And just the place just went to trash. Like the quality of life, it just kind of went down. So little birdie told me that just because you finance with the park doesn't mean they send it to the credit place if you don't pay anymore. And that's what I did. So I quit paying, I packed up, and I abandoned ship, and now I'm renting a condo. So right now I'm in a 2-bedroom, 1 large bathroom condo. Well, it's not huge, but it's like a two-room bathroom. So one room has the sink and vanity area, and then another room right next to it has a tub and toilet. So I'm there, and I've been there since May, and I have an interesting dynamic. My landlord's kind of weird, but that's that. So that's how I got to the Valley. So I've been here for almost 2 years, and I plan to stay. I'm back into the massage industry. I had a rough go. The men down here seem to be a little obnoxious and rowdy. They all want happy endings. They all want sex. They all want this. None of them are getting laid at home. None of them are getting any attention at home, and they just need, and they're all lying. So I'm going to try to put together a more organized list of topics that I can go over. I have a lot of experience in massage therapy and how I got started, and so we'll go into that at some point. But this is how I got to the Valley. I've been here for almost 2 years. If you want to know what's going on down here, send me an email, HeatherKirk35 @gmail is my email. And that's it for right now. This is my tester video. I'm hoping that I can get it loaded up and in one piece to my YouTube and get the show on the road. So this will be part 2 of Dirty Secrets of Massage, but it's not just any massage, it's Massage in the Valley, which is nothing like massage in Houston or Pasadena or Baytown or anyone else. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back again soon.